Hey traders, I'm Corey Mitchell from TradeThatSwing.com. This is your stock market watch list, updating this on October 29th for the week of October 31st. So overall, current market conditions are okay to be taking long trades, long swing trades. So that's the first step. We want to look at what overall conditions are like. This is the second step where I then isolate some stocks I'm interested in, and I'm also finding the patterns in these. These are the stocks that I've listed here. And then basically the job is to wait for trade triggers and decide if these are trades that we want to take. So each week I'll update this page with every week or two with stocks that are in contractions or cup and handles. These are a couple patterns that I like. And these are the scan criteria that I'm using. What this basically does is just gives me a list of stocks, usually less than 300, that are performing better than the S&P 500. I want to be trading stocks that are strong. And a list of 226 this week that I had to go through. A lot of them had gone really vertical the last week, which isn't really a strategy I'm interested in trading. I'd rather wait for them to pull back a bit. So there weren't many stocks this week, only about 3. And last week when I scanned, there was only about 3 too. But they did quite well. So we'll see how these do. And then on the Canadian side, similar scan, and we had 2 stocks there. So we'll go through those. We'll pull up the charts in a second. And then we also have another strategy. So we have the swing trading stock list. And if you go to that page, it discusses the strategy that you use there. The trend trading strategy for high momentum stocks. I usually call it the TATR strategy, which basically means trend ATR, because we're using an ATR method or ATR indicator in the strategy. And you can see the settings for that there. So we're going to go through these as well, so you get some examples of that, and then you'll be seeing this video once it's published. So let's start with the US stock. So these are contraction patterns, and you can see, I'll delete this because the TATR strategy isn't important right now. But you can see this has just been getting squeezed in here for a long time. The contraction waves are getting smaller, so you can see if we were to measure these out, first drop's 23%, next drop's 18%. You get the idea. It just keeps getting smaller and smaller. So we are getting squeezed in here. Earnings coming up around mid-November. So this is looking pretty good. We had this like near vertical rise. LNG. So I'm mostly interested in this little section over here. We had this little drop off, we've come back and we've really started to tighten up here. So a nice little consolidation here, and then a run higher would be nice. We also have earnings coming out soon though. That's a little bit of an issue. I don't like holding through earnings, so I'll probably have to wait till after earnings on that one. This is basically just another type of company, the same type of pattern. This one just broke out already, so could try. I think we already missed our second chance to get in, because you can always put an order out where the original breakout occurred. So we had these drops. We started to consolidate in here, and then we have a little breakout there, and it did pull back to that area on Friday and then closed on the high. So could put out an order there, but this one may be gone already. Let's move to the Canadian side. Make sure we're looking at you can see there's one for the NYSE and one for the TSX. This is Canadian. So we're going with the Canadian one. First drop, a little bit bigger. Second drop, a little bit smaller. And we are running to the upside now. So this one has broken out. So a couple ways to trade this. You can still wait for a consolidation. You can enter it here with a stop loss down here. Kind of depending on which way you like. If you applied the TATR strategy to this, you can see that our entry point was the close on Thursday. So you could also put out an order there, and then basically this green line acts as your trailing stop loss. Once you have a close below that line, that would be the exit. So another entry option there. And Dollar Tree or Dollarama, Canadian. And you can see first drop, second drop. We've had this push up. We don't need the not a TATR strategy trade, but this is a nice consolidation. Let's just measure those waves. So yeah, this first drop, approaching 5.9%. Second drop, yeah, about 4%. So we have a bit of a contraction there in that the selling was getting smaller. We've had to move right back up to the prior swing high. So this one, it's not a huge mover. So I'm always looking at a risk-reward ratio based on the stop-loss size. So, you know, these kind of waves, when it breaks out, you know, it's going 6, maybe 10%. So it's not a huge mover, kind of a more stable type company. So just keep that in mind. All right, let's go to the TATR strategy trades. This one's a little scary. It had that huge 90% drop in a day way back here. So, you know the risks of trading biotech pharmaceutical stocks. If something doesn't go their way on a trial, something like that, it can be ugly. And so position size accordingly. And this one we can see it's below the line, so just waiting for a move up. Overall, I like this recent strength that we've been seeing. Remember, the market was declining during this time, so this one really was bucking the trend, at least over the last few months, to be rallying, and so it'd be watching for a move above this line to potentially go long. INBX. A lot of these are pharmaceuticals or biotechs. This one's riding the lines. This is an alternative entry where basically if you can get an entry right above this green line, the green line is essentially our stop loss. If we get a close below it, we're getting out. So these are, in a strong stock, it's a really low risk entry opportunity. So we missed a couple there. It was down there on Thursday and Friday. We'll see if it comes back. Otherwise, you could still potentially take a trade up here, and then you know what your estimated stop losses. That's a little bit high, 13%. Ideally, it's better to get it closer to the line. Like down here, you're estimating a stop loss 6-7%. That's more what I like. INBX PRVB. And same thing, really strong recently. We're just below the line, watching for a move above it. Don't worry, all these stocks are listed on the page. I realize you can't see the symbol listed on my chart because I cut it off. This one just triggered, and so still in that entry area. We want to be entering on that when there's a close above. So right around this Thursday closing level, a good potential entry area. Very strong, holding steady while the S&P was dropping and starting to push higher again. So who knows if this will be a big push. You know, that's in trading, we never know what's going to happen before the trade, but we've put the odds in our favor by trading strong stocks. This one also just triggered. We, really strong pop up here, and I'm just going to check. I'll often check to make sure there's no news or something like that they're potentially getting bought out. Sometimes we have a big pop like this. It can be the company just got bought out or something. So check the news. But you can see market conditions turn favorable. So this is more the signals we'd be interested in. Back here, even if we got a signal, we probably wouldn't be as interested because the market health indicators were telling us not to trade. So I wouldn't be too concerned about any signals that occur back here. We want to be trading stocks when conditions are good. That way they're more likely to run. So this was a good trigger. Whereas this was just a little bit too early. SRPT. This is one of those ones holding really steady while the S&P has been in a decline, still holding steady, and we have our line just above it. So this is one of those alternative entry ones where we can take a trade really anywhere in here, and if we get a close below this line, we're getting out. So fairly small stop loss at this point. YPF. This one recently triggered. I put it on because I'm in this one from the trigger that occurred on Monday the 24th. And we are coming back toward this entry area. So the entry would have been the close on October 24th. So we're just a little bit above that at the moment. So possible entry there. And DKS. This one's actually not on the list, but this was from a prior list. So before I updated the best swing trading stocks watch list, we got the follow through day, we got the Lowry upside day for the overall stock market outlook. That made it look a lot better. So I was looking through that list. DICS had been holding up really good while the S&P had been in decline. So I liked this entry, and we're still right around it because this was the entry, the close above that line. So we're still right in that area. So I do own this one currently, and basically your stop loss is below that big green candle, a close below that green line here, the ATR line. And so that one's interesting to me as well. So if these help you out, if it's nice to get a little outlook of what I'm looking at, hit the subscribe button, hit the alerts button so that you get a notification when I publish these videos each week. And until next week, happy trading.